What is up, everybody? I'm Elliott Delp. This is Sparky, back again like you never left.
That's
Today we're going to be talking about the Sig Sauer EASY6 BDX optic. This is a scope that will actually aim for you based on how far away your target is. So this should be an awesome video. Let's talk about how it works and if it works. We would like to say thank you to Sig. They did send this out and the Kilo 3K to test, review, check out, and kind of mess with. So big thank you to Sig for doing that. Also, basement operator, only cans, and we got our new tea out. Hunter, what's the new tea called? Because I don't know Spanish.
Corona.
It's not the Corona tea. We can't call
That's the other.
Yeah, we can't call it the Corona tea for marketing. What's it called?
No habla.
Oh, he don't speak Spanish. He can't even remember.
Man.
It's like law operator or something like that.
Good grief.
Yeah, listen, we dance around. All right, so go check us out there. We really appreciate it. That's one of the main ways we fund the channel. We want to take a brief second to thank the biggest sponsor of the channel, Velocity Ammo. Velocity has been supporting us and feeding the firearms, helping us make these review videos for you guys, and allowing us to shoot their ammunition. So big thank you to them. You should check them out. So the Sig EASY6. So before we actually got this, Sparky, we had a little bit experience with this. We went down to PSA.
To the gathering.
To the gathering. Big shout out to PSA for hosting that.
Good.
It was an awesome time. We really recommend you checking it out. Sig was there. They had the EASY6 on a cross, and they all, well, actually, they had, one was like a tactical cross, or one was a PRS cross, and one was just their normal cross. And we got to use it there, and we were really, really impressed by it. They had an awesome demonstration. The big kind of selling point to this scope is it does the holdovers for you.
Yeah, it's just kind of slick.
It's really slick. I mean, I was amazed by it. I know that the Vortex, the new military's new Vortex optic, they'll range and do the holdovers for you. You know, Grand Thumb reviewed that, and it was bougie. This kind of does the same thing in a different package.
Yeah, this is more tailored to civilian.
To normal people.
That's right.
Yeah, and is probably a lot more affordable than the Vortex version.
Yeah.
I don't even, what do you remember what it was?
I don't recall, because I don't know if they're out. I don't know if those are out to where, like,
if you can even, normal people can buy them.
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, good point. So this thing does the holdovers for you, and we'll kind of get more into detail later when we talk about the BDX system and pairing it with the, you know, the rangefinder and also the Bluetooth app on your phone. All right. So first things first, let's talk about price point and kind of where this is in the market. So this is actually on sale on Sig's website. MSRP for it is $1,500. So it is not a cheap optic by any means. This is, you know, approaching up there to almost razor level.
Oh yeah, it's getting up there.
Yeah, so it's high. Right now it's, you know, $1,200. Sig has it on sale. If you want to check it out, takesimoutdoors.com/links. And there you can navigate to it on Sig's website. It's under the tactical scopes. There's two easy. There's an EASY6 and something else. This is, so yeah, anyway, very expensive is the point.
Yes, not cheap, not wallet friendly.
Not wallet friendly, but what you get for it, I think it's almost worth it, considering other $1,000 options. So let's keep on moving forward. So if you noticed, you know, you have your
Don't ask me to do it.
Yeah, anyway, this is your diopter there. You know, you have your throw. This one actually came with a throw. We took the throw lever off to do the
red dot.
The red dot, but it has a nice throw. It was easy to take off. Really simple.
Oh yeah,
not a lot.
It's got the basic features of scopes.
Yeah,
of higher end scopes.
34mm tube. It's an important thing because most
don't buy 30.
Yeah, 34mm tube scope rings are actually harder to get.
Because that's not necessarily a common size.
No, it's not.
For most people,
it's definitely more of a longer range, niched.
Yeah, application based.
Yeah. So we went with a Sig scope rings. I have 34mm tube scope rings for, I think it is an Arrow. They make a mount. Reptilia makes a mount. All of them, they're more higher end mounts. There's not a lot of cheap mounts out there for the 34mm. I think Arrow is definitely the cheapest, and I think that's still like $100.
I think I'd stick with the Sig. I'm gonna shoot this fly.
Yeah, they're all over us. These were the more expensive mounts. I think they're A2. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter. I'll we'll pop it up the actual name of the mount, but I think it was like $250. So they're higher end mounts, really nice, have awesome cuts in them. You know, looks real bougie.
They're pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, they're definitely pleasing to the eye. They tell you the specs on them on what you should torque them down to, 25 inch-pounds and 65 inch-pounds for the these right here on the side. Coming to the actual heart.
What actually sets us apart from?
It's an MRAD scope. All right, so there's 10 mils. Here, hold on. I always get this all backwards. So there's 10 MRAD of travel in it with 0.1 MRAD adjustments on the optic. We usually do things in MOA.
So
mils are hard.
Branching out a little bit.
Those are the adjustments, but you don't really need them because you're not really dialing this scope in. The thing on the side here allows you to turn the optic on and enable the Bluetooth and the illuminated reticle, which is the real reason you are buying this thing. So this thing has the BDX system in it. The BDX system will turn on when you turn on the scope, and it'll light up, it'll shoot, you know, it'll shoot your colors down, and it'll pop up different colors on the side, and it'll tell you that it's on. You pair it with the BDX app and the rangefinder, and you can do a whole host of different things with it. So the main thing is, or the real cool reason is you can range stuff with the rangefinder. The rangefinder will communicate with the scope based on what bullet parameters you set up in the app. So I have this set up for the DD, the 18-inch 5.56. I went in there and I put in, you know, 55 grain, what my velocities were, and it communicates back and forth between the rangefinder and the scope, and it'll automatically pop up a holdover in the scope for your range just based on what the rangefinder ranges, which is really, really cool. So we were shooting the other day, and we started at 200 yards, and you know, I always zero at 50. So the 50-200 zeros, same thing really. But we started backing up 300, 400, 500, 600, and it did really, really good until about 600, and then I realized I was just going off of factory velocities.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that you need to really dial in.
You need a chronograph.
You need a chronograph, which we didn't do, but that'll make it more and more accurate to your holdovers. But you know, even though I didn't chronograph it,
it was close.
It was close until we really started to push the limits of the 5.56.
Where you're starting to see the little differences. 600
yards for 5.56 is stretching it, and the little velocity disparity really affected
at that range
the calculations for the bullet drop. So that's one thing I noticed while I was testing this thing out. You know, make sure you chrono it.
If you want the best results.
Yeah, to get the very best results. This also comes with several different like pre-programmed holdovers. I mean, there's a whole, I think there's like 6 or 7 different groups of like preset holdovers, to where if you don't have this, you can just activate it in the scope and the scope will automatically do it.
Yeah.
Really nice feature. One of the other things, if you don't have a rangefinder, it'll, in the app, you can set it all up exactly the same way, and you can just toggle like between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it goes all the way out to 800 in the app of your holdovers based on your velocities and whatnot. So if you don't have the rangefinder, this thing still works.
Still do it.
You just have to have the app for it. Or if you don't have the app for it, you can control it all through just manipulating the different
settings
on the scope. You have to like turn it 3 times one way. Like it's more in depth if you don't have the app.
Yeah.
The app makes it super simple. I mean, there was like nothing to setting up the Bluetooth connection between this and my phone. So I really recommend just using the app instead of trying to finagle this.
It'll make it so much easier.
It makes it so much easier. And then it's just so much cooler if you have the rangefinder. You just need to make sure that the rangefinder has the BDX capabilities. Like this one does. It's the Kilo 3K. This one's a really nice rangefinder. All the manuals and stuff on SIG are out of date. So when I was setting this thing up, it kept prompting me that the rangefinder needed to be set in a kind of a setting that it didn't have. You need to make sure your rangefinder is set to the BDX U setting, because all of SIG's...
It won't communicate otherwise.
It won't communicate. So there's like line of sight. This basically just turns the Bluetooth on.
Yeah.
But all the SIG's paperwork didn't have that. They all had, I guess, the old version. And
or a different rangefinder or something.
Yeah. And also, when I first paired my rangefinder with my phone, it actually did a software update. So I don't know if that had to do with it or what. But I mean, after I got that done, it was super simple to use. So really, really recommend using the app. Some other nice things, you know, after we talk about the major thing on the SIG, and I'll kind of use the little cheat sheet here, because SIG has a bunch of nice little features. It is motion activated with the illumination.
Which is nice.
So if you leave it on, which actually I did,
it'll cut itself off after.
It'll cut itself off after a little bit. But what I also don't like about that is if you you're at the range and you leave it on, you kind of got to mess with it to cut itself
off
or back on.
Oh, back on. Oh,
because we were shooting, and you know, sometimes you just take breaks between it, and then it's like you get back on the gun and you didn't think it was that long, and you're like, why is my stuff?
Why is it gone?
Why is it gone? And I'm like ranging things, and the other guy was like, nothing's popping up, and I was like, well, I guess you got to mess with it a little bit. So it has a very nice unlimited lifetime warranty. So,
great.
You know, I wouldn't say break it, but SIG's got you. Another great thing about is the level system in it. So it's actually more accurate than an actual level, and that means you don't have to buy a level to put on it. It's really nice. So when you're looking down the reticle, and I forgot to even mention the BDX digital dev L, we'll pop up the reticle, but it'll pop up which side the scope is leaning to when you're looking through. It'll just hover red on this side, and then you can tilt it more. And if you tilt it too much, it'll pop up red that's not level. Yeah, so it'll level itself for you, which is really nice, especially when I can't level a scope to save my life.
Yeah.
I'm actually horrible at it. So that's a really nice feature, and I think it's really cool. And another really cool thing about this is it has a kinetic energy indicator in it. So if you were to,
I never heard of. This one.
Yeah. So if you were to take this thing hunting,
get him.
I got him. If you were to take this thing hunting and you input all of your information into the system, to the app and everything, the scope will actually tell you, based on how far you are ranging your target, your animal, if it's an ethical shot.
If it's got the punch to do it.
Yeah, based on your caliber, your velocity. If it's got either, you can base it on foot-pounds, or you can base it on feet per second, the bullet velocity.
Yeah.
Either or. The scope will tell you whether or not it's an ethical shot. Obviously, it's really based on you.
Ethical in the sense that the round can do the job at that range.
Yeah.
Assuming you hit it.
Assuming you hit it. So and in the correct spot, which I think is really cool. You know, if you're really shooting a long shot on an animal, and you're like, you know, I don't know about that. That's 700 yards with the 5.56. The scope will be like, hey, look.
It's not. We're pushing it.
We're pushing it here. So we need to be careful. And I think that was a really cool feature. On the SIG. Now, SIG also has a bunch of, you know, I guess accolades when you go to their website. I mean, this has some really nice glass into it. It's super clear.
Real crisp. I like it.
Yeah. And we didn't really talk a lot about the scope, but very tactile scope movements, you know?
You're not going to move them by accident.
Yeah, you're not going to move them by accident. They are capped, which is nice. And like, this is a second focal plane optic, so to make sure your holdovers are correct, you have to ramp it all the way to the max setting. But I don't think they probably couldn't have done the BDX system if it was first focal plane, because it would have been...
Yeah, you're going to start having some issues there.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, I guess all the electronics that run through the reticle, it'd be weird.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess the second focal plane optic was the best bet for that. But, you know, the holdovers work. This worked really, really well. I mean, like I said, you have to make sure you are very dialed in on your velocities if you're going to start really stretching your legs. But the system's phenomenal. And I think for $1,100...
It's as advertised. It does everything it's supposed to.
It does everything it's supposed to. It does really good. And if you're spending $1,000 on an optic...
You're getting a lot of bang for buck.
But I mean, compared to other $1,000...
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
compared to other like more high-end optics, this is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to use the Bluetooth. It still works normally.
Even outside of the reason to buy it, it's still fantastic optic.
Yeah, it's still a fantastic optic, and I think Sig did a really good job on it. And if you're looking to buy, you know, something cool to have at the range, or if you're looking to buy a gift for somebody and you got $1,000 to throw around.
Wait, hey, birthday's coming up.
Yeah. So there you go. Actually, it'd probably be more than. So you got 1,200, because it's on sale now.
And you got the mount.
You got the mount. So you're probably pushing $1,500.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if you're building out a precision gun and you want to do some long range shooting and you want to do it easy.
Yeah, you want to learn to just, you want the gun to do all the work and you don't have to, which you could argue whether or not that makes you a good shooter or not. We can get into that later, but this does the work for you.
And it's awesome. So I highly recommend it. We have it here on the DD Mark 12. I'm
impressed.
Yeah, very impressed by the optics.
Very skeptical to begin with.
Oh yeah. So big shout out to Sig, and you know, big shout out to 801 Weapon Works for providing the rifle for us to shoot on.
Oh yes, fantastic setup.
So make sure to follow us, subscribe to us, and check us out on Instagram, because there where we post all of our deals and cool photos. Really appreciate you guys for watching. Sparky, say it. Take someone outdoors. Take someone outdoors.
Take some outdoors.
Peace.